Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's section reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The decks and dice information that'll be below. Other than that, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's also below. I'll repeat this at the end, of course. All right, and let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aquarius? Aquarius. Very busy on something. Is there a plan? Is there a plan? Why is there like an extra? Okay. Okay, so is there a plan is a great question. You've been working with the situation for quite a while. I don't think originally you thought this was your end destination. Or at least you didn't think it was going to go the way it has. Maybe that's a better way to put it. In the past, where you thought things were going to go, it's not where they went. And you've done what you could to move around the situation and reform it and edit it where you can. But the story is what the story is. This is not where you thought you'd be at this point. Yet you keep working with it, but you're like, this is, I'm working with it, but this is not quite where if I realized this is where it was going to go, I don't know that I'd be where I am right now. That type of thing. And there's some hard decisions that have been rolling around your brain. I feel like there's decisions that are waiting to be answered, and it's kind of like, I feel like I need to make a decision before, by not making the decision, I've actually made the decision. Okay. I don't really want to. I keep getting like, I don't want to make the decision because I feel like this is going to set up the next few years of my life. But I also, again, I keep thinking like by not making the decision, I am making the decision, and I don't want to do that either. I feel like Aquarius is very much in the energy, I need to actively choose what I want. I don't like the default energy. Like even if the choice and the default are the same, by choosing it, it's a better outcome because I will actively go in that direction. If I just let it kind of go there, it just has a very flat flavor, very flat, tasteless, bland outcome. I'm nervous about making the wrong decision, but at the same time, I get that like you'll choose the best you can. Life does what life does. It's a better choice to make a choice for sure. I feel like you're already on that bandwagon. I feel like you're already there. Any choice is better than just defaulting. Even if the choice and the default end up being the same, by actively choosing it, it's a better outcome because you'll invest in it. Okay. I do feel like they're asking you, they're not saying you've reached your destination. They're asking you, with this situation, have you hit your destination? Have you gone as far as you plan to go? Or do you see your goal in sight for this situation? So for some of you, maybe you have a job and you're like, well, in the next 10 to 12 years, I could retire from here. Is that your destination for this situation, for example? It could be a house you're having the same question, like, do I think I'm going to retire and live in this house, or do I plan to sell it? Stuff like that. It's looking towards the future, like, is this as far as this is going? Is this actually my destination, or do I have something else in mind? And if this is my destination, what can I do to make it more to what I want it to be versus what it actually is at the moment? All right, the next part is when I'm really interested to see what happens here. Okay, so be careful of your own history, whatever that means. Be careful of your own history, because you have learned a lot. And I get 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever you want. It's almost like some of us, I'm not an Aquarius, I'm a Pisces, but still, some of you will look back and go, oh, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I would have had the energy to do this, that, or the other thing. But 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you didn't have the experience or the knowledge that you currently have now. Remember to look at it that way as well. You have more options than you're giving yourself credit for. If you're looking at it like, if I choose a certain option, I have to make it happen, I have to do everything, that's very limiting. Especially if you look at it like, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it now, and I have to do it all. That's very limiting. It would make sense why you may feel that way, but that is very limiting. Another way to look at this is like, it doesn't all have to happen in one moment. I can put it together as I see fit. I can do it piece by piece. Maybe the way I thought it had to be done isn't doable. Maybe doing it by myself isn't doable. But if I'm willing to open up to other issues or other situations, other issues, I think that's interesting how I said that. If I'm willing to open up to other issues, I do have options. I do at least have options. And maybe I should explore what that looks like. Working with other people, working at it in piece by piece, which is interesting. Because I never really thought of Aquarius as an all or nothing. I don't know how you guys view it, but like, I see Aquarius as like being in control, thinking it out. Even if you technically don't have the title to be in control, you still know what's going to happen. You know how to maneuver things to get them where you need to get them. This is one of those things saying, like, look at the good and bad of the situation. There are some aspects here that I feel like I could have different options if I'm willing to do it in a way that's maybe not as comfortable as it normally would have. It's almost like I could go back to school and I could go to college, but I'd have to live with somebody, or maybe I'd have to move in with a family member and share the bills. Maybe that's not as appealing as I'd like it to be. I prefer my independence, but it is an option that could help me get a different outcome here. Those type of things with this High Priestess. Kind of like, I could have a really good outcome, but am I willing to balance it out with what I don't really like? Is that going to make it worth it? I don't know if I really want to do that, but maybe I should at least explore the option, see if it's actually there. I feel like I'm missing something there, but I don't know what. Some of it's kind of like, it's taking a little bit of a risk. I can't guarantee it'll work out, but maybe it's worth trying. I don't know how you feel about that. It's kind of opening up to different options. It's kind of like taking it in the sense of like, what am I not considering because there's something here, there's an aspect I don't like, and exploring the aspect I don't like a little deeper. Because exploring the aspect I don't like a little deeper, yeah, there's going to be pieces you just don't like it, but it may be doable even though you don't like it. And is it worth the final outcome to explore that? All right. I think that's good for that part, because I get that the situation, there's some negotiability here that, like, if I talk about it a bit, if I consider things, if I get in connection with certain people, I might find there's more options, maybe not the most ideal options, but still doable options that could get me in a position that's much better. Is that 2 pieces? Okay, so you're not trapped in whatever you have here, by the way. The 8 of Swords reversed came up on the dice. You're not trapped in this situation. It's remembering that as well. Be careful of the history I keep getting with this. Seeing the history more honestly, in the sense of, like, yeah, maybe I had more energy when I was younger, but also, did I have the information I have now? Also, when you're looking at people from the past, remember that you've grown and you've changed over years. You handle things different than you used to. Other people are the same, which could go good or not so good. People who you may have gotten along with in the past for certain reasons, maybe you don't get along with them the same because you've both changed a little bit. Vice versa, people who maybe you didn't get along with them because they seemed like they were a little too rigid or maybe not as chatty. Maybe those people who weren't as chatty in the past, maybe that's more to your liking now. Keep that in mind. I've seen that happen with people where, like, when they were younger, they were very chatty and they couldn't stand people who didn't talk very much. But now then that they're older, they're like, oh my God, I can't stand it when people just talk and talk and talk about nothing. And now when they get around people who didn't used to chat so much, they still don't chat that much, but they're like, actually, I like that better, because when they do talk, they chat with something of substance. So that's okay. It's up to you how you feel about that, obviously. Going through this process, though, it changes the outcome. You could end up with a really good outcome. You could end up with something that's judgment in your favor and you very much like. It's sifting through stuff that you don't like. It's instead of looking at it going, no, I don't like that, so I'm not even going to consider it. So it's kind of like, I'm going to equate it for food for me, kind of like, oh, that's fish. I don't like fish, so I'm not even going to consider it. Meanwhile, I do like fake crab. I do like salmon. I don't mind tuna. There's certain things, like I actually do really like tuna melts. I haven't had those in a long time. But, those are considered, those are fish. Those are fish. Like, most of that is seafood, right? I don't know what fake crab actually is, but, stuff like that. It's kind of like, I actually do like some of it, but if I keep blocking it out, like, oh no, that whole category, that's a no. I'm not looking or trying things that I possibly could like, because I have found small pieces here and there that I actually do. Like, I really like tuna melts. Crab rangoon. I like salmon, especially when it's like, got some really enjoyable sauce on it. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're trying to point out here. You could have a great outcome. It's just considering things that maybe your knee-jerk reaction is like, oh no, not that. Going, okay, wait, let me consider that. It's not likely, but it's possible. Let me consider that. Let me look into it. Let me dig into it, just to see what's at least there and see if a possibility might be worth it for you. That's all this is asking. Because you could have this judgment in your favor and you could have a really good outcome on the other side. It's, what does it take to get there? That's the question. All right. I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.